You know, right now, there are literally trillions of living things on your skin, inside your gut, even on the screen you're looking at. Most of them are bacteria. And while you probably think of them as these tiny, nasty invaders, well, the real story is a lot more complex and honestly, way more interesting.
Let's be real. When someone says bacteria, your mind probably jumps straight to this kind of thing, right? Danger, sickness. It's why we're all so obsessed with washing our hands. And it's what keeps professionals like Chef Gennaro Garofalo on their toes. For him, a single stray bacterium in the kitchen could be an absolute disaster.
But is that really the whole picture? Are they all out to get us? That is the big question we're going to dig into right now as we start to separate the facts from the fear. So let's kick things off with what we all think we know, bacteria as germs. And we'll look at this from the perspective of someone who is on the front lines of that battle every single day. So what even is a bacterium? Well, at its core, it's a single living cell. And when I say tiny, I mean unbelievably tiny. We're talking a couple of micrometers across. To put that in perspective, if a human hair was a highway, a bacterium would be a tiny little car driving on it. They are truly microscopic. And it turns out, bacteria aren't alone in this single-celled world. Nope, they're part of this huge family of what biologists call unicellular organisms. So let's take a quick look at what that actually means.
It's pretty much as simple as it sounds. A living thing that is made of just one single cell. Think about it like this. You and I were made of trillions of cells, all working together. But a unicellular organism, it's a total solo act. Everything it needs for life is packed into one microscopic little package.
And here's where it gets really cool. Bacteria share this category with things you might expect, like an amoeba, but also with unicellular fungi, like yeast. Yep, the exact same tiny organism that makes our bread rise and our beer bubbly is a single-celled powerhouse. So you can already see that not all these microbes are bad news.
And you should not let that single-cell thing fool you. Each one is a complete, self-sufficient machine. A single bacterium can move around, it can feed itself, it can grow, and it can make copies of itself, all on its own. It's basically a perfect little survival pod.
Okay, so how does this tiny survival machine actually pull all that off? To figure that out, we need to zoom way, way in and take a look at what's going on inside. So if a bacterium is a tiny factory, this is the basic blueprint. It's got a tough outer wall for protection, a membrane that works like a bouncer at a club, deciding who gets in and who gets out, and this jelly-like stuff called cytoplasm where all the action happens. But here's the really key difference from our cells. There's no nucleus, no central office. The DNA, all its genetic instructions, just kind of floats around inside. And some bacteria come with optional extras. Think of them like survival upgrades. Some have this protective slime capsule that keeps them safe, and others have a flagellum. It's this incredible little tail that whips around like a propeller, letting it literally swim through its environment.
Okay, so now we know what they are and how they're built. It's time to get back to that big question we started with. Are these complex little creatures our friends or our foes?
And the answer is, they're both. On the one hand, you've got the villains of the story, the ones Chef Gennaro worries about, like E. coli and Salmonella, the ones that can make us seriously sick. But then, on the other hand, you have this massive army of allies, helpful bacteria that are absolutely essential for life as we know it. And really, who better to make this point than our chef? The very same guy who is so careful about bad bacteria knows that without other kinds of bacteria, two of our favorite foods, cheese and yogurt, would just not exist. And it goes way beyond food. The scale of these helpful bacteria in our own bodies is just staggering. There are trillions of them living in your digestive system right now. They're not just hanging out either. They actively help you digest your food, and they play a huge role in keeping you healthy and even preventing disease. So, you see, the goal isn't to just wage an all-out war on bacteria. We couldn't even if we wanted to. The real skill is learning how to live with them. Encouraging the good ones while keeping the bad ones in check. So, let's get practical. And for that, we can go right back to Chef Gennaro's brilliant and super simple system, the 4 C's of food safety. It's cleaning, cooking, chilling, and preventing cross-contamination. Honestly, it's such an easy way to remember the basics of a safe kitchen. Let's just take cooking for a second. This isn't just guesswork. For something risky like chicken, there is a magic number, 72 degrees Celsius, which is about 165 Fahrenheit. Hitting that temperature inside the meat isn't just a good idea, it's the kill switch for those dangerous bacteria. Now that last C, cross-contamination, might be the sneakiest of them all, and is really simple. It's just what happens when bacteria from one thing, let's say raw chicken, gets transferred over to something else, like a fresh salad you're about to eat.
And preventing it really just comes down to a few smart, simple habits. In your fridge, the golden rule is raw meat always goes on the bottom shelf. That way nothing can drip down onto your other food. And maybe the most important rule of all, always, always, always wash your hands and your cutting boards after they've touched raw meat. It's a game changer.
So, I guess the big takeaway here is this. Our relationship with bacteria is all about balance. They are not just germs that we need to destroy. They're a fundamental, unavoidable, and often totally essential part of our world. They are the invisible architects that help build our food, and they are the silent guardians that help protect our bodies. They're a threat we have to manage, for sure, but they're also a vital partner in our own survival. So next time you wash your hands, think about that. You're not just wiping out germs, you're managing an entire complex, invisible world. What are you going to remember about it?